up another three issues that we saw several questions on as well. 3G is the company, the private equity company, essentially, that you have done several deals with. First with Heinz and now with Kraft. And we had several questions that came up from shareholders who were concerned that 3G's way of business is not necessarily the Berkshire way of doing business. 3G finds companies and goes in and tends to lay off lots of people when they come into a company, maybe an underperforming company, but it seems like it's a little tougher management than Berkshire generally does. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, they go into companies where they feel that that they're inefficient in one way or another, and they proceed very quickly to make them more efficient, whether it's having losing plants. In Heinz, we found, they found, but I'm on the board, so I'm aware of it, they found that there were certain plants that were losing money, been losing money for years, and frequently when you have a very profitable company, they just tolerate such things, and 3G does not. They think we're making very good money, but you have plants that are losing money or products that are losing money, or you have the opportunity to bring on new products that will make money. They believe in taking the actions they would take, whether the company's profitable or not, and they believe in doing it promptly. And from everything I've seen, they do it not only sensibly, they do it humanely. Berkshire just, when we buy a company, the people that were managing it before keep managing it. And usually they manage quite efficient operations. And we like to buy companies like that, but 3G is perfectly willing to take on something where a lot of improvement can be made, and then they do it.
Is it fair to say that you would have never bought shares in Heinz or in Kraft recently? You used to own Kraft, but you sold out of it. Is it fair to say that you would not have gotten involved with those companies if it weren't for 3G management coming in?
Sure, those companies needed management that would make changes, and they were spending money they didn't need to spend, quite a bit of money they didn't need to spend. And I knew that 3G would do something about it, whereas if I'd bought it, I wouldn't have done anything about it. I would have left the old management in place.
Andrew was here this weekend too, and I know he has a question. Andrew?
Hey, Warren, on 3G and their approach, you know, one of the questions is you're a long-term shareholder, and they position themselves to be a somewhat long-term shareholder, though more like a private equity investor. Do you have any concern or worry that when they cut, they don't just cut, you know, the fat, but they end up cutting the muscle, and they maybe get down to the bone, and what that means from a long-term perspective, meaning they can maybe eke out some great profits in the next couple of years ahead, but what that does to the business, you know, 10, 20 years down the road?
Yeah, well, I think they'll be in the business 10, 20 years down the road. When they went in the brewing business, they started with a little brewery in Brazil, and now they have Anheuser-Busch, and they're not going to sell Anheuser-Busch. And they started with Burger King, and they're making a lot of progress at Burger King. And they're not going to sell Burger King. They're going to make it larger. And the same way with Heinz. We did not buy into Heinz to sell Heinz. We bought into Heinz to grow Heinz, as did they. So it is true that the private equity firms generally have some timetable to when they want to get out of an investment. Sometimes they get out just in a couple of years. 3G and but we're their partner. 3G has no plans to do anything but build the businesses that we've joined them with, and they've shown no indication to do anything else throughout their history. They're in a retailing operation in Brazil that they went into 20 years ago. So they are builders. They are builders of efficiency as well as builders of product. But at Heinz, we have 4 new products coming out very soon. Be sure and try our new Heinz mustard. And these fellows, every conversation I have with them, they want to figure out how to make the companies bigger and more efficient over time. And I've watched them do it. So they're in no way private equity operators who are buying a business, getting an override for running it for a while, and then selling it.
Another one of the big issues here this weekend, again, this was not on the floor of the convention center where things were taking place, but outside there were protests that came from